I've been a personal trainer for the last 5 years, full time, and worked with over 100 clients. Have transformed many lives and completely transformed physiques. I myself have been working out for over a decade. So here is a decade's worth of wisdom cut down into this video on advice to get jacked and shredded. So if you're watching this right now, your goal is to put on some muscle and to lose some body fat. I think that's really everyone's goal. And that I used to think was something that was incredibly hard. I actually had a conversation today with one of my clients and I asked him, well, why don't you just get liposuction? Why don't you just suck all the fat off your body? And apart from the risks of that, it's relatively simple. You pay a bunch of money, you go to sleep, you wake up skinnier. But his response was, well, I don't want to do that because I don't want scars. I want to actually know what I have to do. I want to live the lifestyle. And that's exactly right. The goal isn't simply just to change your physique. The goal is to build the life, be happy with your actions, build a body that you're confident and proud in, and actually enjoy living. So, I'm going to speak about what it takes to build the body you're happy with, but also then the mindset behind actually implementing that. Because most people don't fail because they're not doing the right things. They fail because they mentally burn out or they give up. So, the most important thing to start off with, and the thing that's going to drive results the greatest, is going to be your calorie balance. If you're trying to lose weight, it's to be in a 500 to 750 calorie deficit. Now, if you are starting any journey in physique relation, you need to be tracking your calories. That's just full stop. Track your calories to learn where you're at, figure out where you need to be, and slowly taper down. We don't just remove thousands of calories at once. We taper every single week. And that can literally just be removing 100 to 200 calories per week. It's nothing drastic. Slow and steady really wins this. If you're going into a surplus and you're trying to put on weight and build muscle for whatever reasons, putting on weight, then you don't need to eat thousands of more calories. You simply just have to add 200 to 300 to your maintenance. So it's really important that you first off start by figuring out where your calories are at, and then either work your way down to a deficit or work your way into a surplus. From there, if you're trying to lose weight or build muscle, we need to be prioritizing protein intake. This is 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kg of body weight. If you are trying to lose weight, you don't want to lose muscle. You want to lose purely fat. If you're trying to build muscle, you need to be up towards this higher end so that muscle actually grows. Without it, you won't see the results. You could be working out, but you won't see the muscles going on. What's also really important is that you're eating high quality meals, high quality protein sources, you're staying away and minimizing as much processed things as possible. Now truthfully, you don't have to cut it out completely, you can still indulge, you can still have a wee bit of processed food throughout your day, across the week, have your takeaways, as long as the majority of your food is good whole food. And I like to go by the 80-20 rule. If 80% of my diet is good, 20% can be out of a packet, not great stuff. And then trying to hit this protein goal, I think is really important to spread out across the day. So you're having 3 to 5 meals. Now this is obviously going to be determined by how many calories you are actually eating, the size of the meals, but I like to go for 3 main meals and 2 snacks. Keeps me full throughout the day, it stops me snacking on crap, stops me getting cravings and things like that. So I am a fan of fasting or anything like that. It doesn't need to be complicated. You do not need to fast, you don't need to starve yourself. You literally just have to have the plan in place. Track your calories, hit your meals, hit your protein. From there, it's really important that, again, whether building muscle or losing fat, you are weight training. Now, most people try and weight train too much and then burn out. They manage it for a week or two and then they give up. So making sure that you're hitting 3 to 5 sessions a week, I think, is completely doable. 5 in the upper end, if you can. But really, you can see phenomenal progress in just 3 sessions. And I do not think it has to be obsessive. 3 1-hour sessions a week, full body training, you will see good results if you're implementing progressive overload. So progressive overload is simply where when you go into the gym, you're trying to lift heavier than you did last time, still keeping good form, or lift that same weight doing more reps. It is simply that simple. You really can only build muscle if you are creating your new stimulus. So the way I like to think about it is, muscle only evolves if you actually put it in an environment to evolve. If you do the same things all the time, it has no reason to grow. So you have to make sure every time you're going to the gym, you're trying to push that wee bit harder, that wee bit more, so that muscle actually develops. Then, for sets and reps, truthfully, the higher volume, the better. So for your compound lifts, sure, you can try to lift this heavy, do 1 rep maxes on your deadlifts and your squats and your bench. That's all good fun. But if you want to build muscle, generally the safest way and the most efficient way is higher volume works. If you can do 8 to 12 reps, 2 to 4 sets, and take 60 to 90 seconds rest period, you're going to be doing pretty good. You can even go higher than that and do 12 reps, all the way up to 20 reps. There's no need to go kind of beyond that because you probably pick too light of a weight. But if you can do more in the gym, in your hour slot, the better. That's the way I see it. And the science backs that up. More volume in that hour, the better. More reps, working close to failure, constantly improving. So, weight training. Then, we've got sleep and recovery. Now this is super important for multiple reasons, but you need to be sleeping 8 to 9 hours. If you don't sleep, you're not going to recover from your workouts, meaning you're not going to build as much muscle, or you're not going to be recovered for your next workout. There's also hormonal issues that could happen, stress could be higher if your sleep's poor. So we really want to make sure, to get healthy and fit, that your sleep's as good as possible. So make sure you go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. Try and get into a really good sleep pattern of, you've got bedtime, you've got wake up time. At the weekend, just offset it by a couple of hours. If you normally go to bed at 8 or 9, go to bed at 10 or 11 at the weekend, right? No screens, no caffeine. So cut off caffeine at 12, midday, no screens half an hour to an hour before bed, so that you're really trying to optimise your sleep health. And then daily movement. Now this is one of the ones that's going to really contribute to your calorie burn, as well as your calorie balance. These are the two biggest drivers of your weight loss. So hitting 8 to 15k steps can burn a lot of calories without ever having to actually do cardio. If you are only doing like 4,000 and you bump up to 8,000, you're going to burn more calories that day, hundreds of more calories. If you then look at that across the week, you're going to burn thousands of more calories that week, that month. If we then increase it from there, all the way up to 15,000, you're just constantly burning more calories, and it's less stressful on the body. You don't have to recover from it like doing cardio. You don't have to recover from it like doing a workout. It's nice and easy in the joints. It's not that tiring. It's not that effortsome. So small walks spread out throughout the day are really, really helpful. 5-10 minute walks throughout the day is actually really achievable. In the morning, lunchtime, get home from work, after dinner, before bed. Really simple, and you've just increased your steps over the top of what you've already been doing. And then cardio, on top of that, can really help burn calories quite quickly. So 2 to 4 sessions of cardio, whether it's HIIT training or low intensity training, which is the one I do. I like to just sit in the spin bike, pedal away, and I can do work on my laptop, I can do work on my phone, or I can just watch something. I've got a spin bike in my living room that I can do it there, but truthfully I end up doing it in the gym the majority of the time, and I just do work on my phone. So cardio doesn't need to be something that's like exhausting if you do it low intensity and do 20 to 30 minutes of it repeatedly throughout the week. 2 to 4 of those is great because, again, hundreds of calories getting burnt across the week, across the month, thousands of calories getting burnt, helping your overall weight loss. These are the most important factors. Like, if you want to get a physique that looks amazing, feel great, these 5 things are all you need to be doing. It really is that simple. Drink some water on top of that, take some supplements, and you can look at macro timing. So having like carbs pre-workout, protein post-workout, carbs in the morning to give you energy. But truthfully, it's not needed. Anything above and beyond here that you may be asking yourself right now, what about fasting? What about carnivore? What about avoiding carbs? None of that is needed. These are what's needed. These are going to be the biggest drivers, the biggest needle movers towards your fat loss. Now, we can see that visually. I've written a map, the impact on fat loss and muscle gain. The biggest thing is going to be your calorie balance. You can't beat it. You can do everything else, but if your calorie balance is off, you're not going to see results. If you're eating too much and you're trying to lose weight, you're not going to lose weight. If you're trying to build muscle and you're not eating enough, you're not going to build muscle. Protein intake is next. It's just so important for losing weight and building muscle as well. You could work out all the time, but if the protein's not there, you're not going to build the muscle. Weight training, either way, is really important because weight training helps with fat loss. It helps build your metabolism up so that you can eat more while losing weight, but also building muscle. Your daily movement is massive. Your daily movement is, again, your second biggest calorie burner. So making sure you're getting daily movement in, your 8 to 15k steps, you're doing cardio is really, really important. You're not really got any much or very much more options in burning calories. It's really these two. Rest and recovery, because you could do the first 4 and have shit sleep and you would still make progress, but it just won't be as good progress. Your macro timings, it does impact things. It impacts how hard you could work out, it impacts your energy levels throughout the day, it impacts your recovery. However, you could completely ignore it and still see great results. Supplements are, again, you could eat pretty well balanced, not amazing, still see phenomenal results. In your supplements might impact it ever slightly, but not massively. So this is the priority list. Now that's all easy to say. However, we are not machines. We are humans. This, as an overview, is simple to implement, but not easy. Because we have emotions, we have feelings, we get our feelings hurt, we get lazy, we don't have a great mindset sometimes. So, reasons for failure. The reasons why the majority of people that ever attempt to change their physiques, change their lifestyle, fail is these. Lack of sustainable motivation. So people tend to say, I'm just not motivated today, and they won't go to the gym. Or they're sitting on the couch, they need to go to a food shop, and they just say, I just can't be arsed, and they don't go. There's so many reasons that people operate on motivation. They just don't do anything. They just don't last. Something happens in their life where they're like, right, I need to get my butt in gear, I need to get a move on, I need to really focus on this. They spend the next week to 2 really dialed in, going balls to the walls, literally throwing everything at it, and they burn out and they stop, and then they go back to eating junk food and being a lazy piece of shit. The amount of times that I've had people come to me and I see straight through them, there's been so many times where someone has come to me and been a yes man, where they say, yeah, I'm going to kill it, I'm so motivated, I'm ready for this, I'm going to track all my calories, I'm going to do, I'm going to do everything you're asking me to, then they don't do it. And I ask them why, and they're like, oh no, but I'm killing it, I'm doing well, I'm doing better than I've ever been doing, I'm really focused, I'm eating good food, healthy food. And I'm like, but you've not tried your calories, you've not done anything that I've asked you to. Yeah, but I'm really engaged and I'm really excited to really go see what I can do. And they just keep on saying yes and they never admit what is going wrong. And I see right through it. And those are the people that don't last. Those people that are yes man, they put a fake face on just to try and change. They're the ones that fail off quite quickly because they're operating on motivation for change, not actually doing the thing. Lack of self-discipline and inconsistent habits. Really, all of these up here are just habits. These things are relatively simple to do. Just track your calories, eat healthy, hit your protein, weight train a couple of times, move a wee bit more, sleep. Relatively simple, but people are just inconsistent. They go back to their old bad habits instead of implementing good ones, like eating takeaways and getting lack of sleep and staying up playing video games and jacking off and all these things, the things that they used to do. And that's what throws them off. They have lack of self-discipline. They want to take the comfortable route, but comfort doesn't make the man. I would rather be uncomfortable a couple of hours of the week doing these things than uncomfortable the entire time of my life because I'm fat, overweight, unhealthy. Unrealistic expectations. People tend to think that they can drop a drastic amount of weight very, very quickly, and they just don't. They've spent years and years being unhealthy and unfit, and they think that they can correct that in 6 weeks. It takes a while, and you have to come to realizations that what you're doing isn't just a 6, 8 week, 12 week thing. It's the rest of your life. You're buckling in to change. And then emotional dysregulation. This is when something comes up in your life and you throw in the fucking towel. You have a bad time with family life. Your girlfriend breaks up with you, your job isn't going well, something happens and you revert back to the piece of shit that used to be. And this has happened so many times, where you let emotions come into things too much. You let one bad thing spiral, grow arms and legs, and throw off everything. Throw off your head, throw off what you're doing. And I believe that if you lose your habits and your actions, you're going to lose your head, you're going to lose control. So how do you fix that? What are the mental tools? Well, first is knowing why. Why do you want to change? Right? What is the thing that's has made you start? And for me, it was didn't like being skinny. People would bully me. There's a time I remember walking down the corridor in school and someone said, you look like you walk like you just got off a horse. Because my legs were so skinny, I had such a big thigh gap. I remember being picked on, called Slenderman and things like that. And my reason to change was I want to fucking prove people wrong. I don't want to be the skinny, lanky guy anymore. I want to be the jack guy. So set actual goals. Like, know what it is you're actually trying to achieve. Having a goal can be the difference between actually seeing the thing through and not. So just saying I want to get jacked and shredded isn't good enough. What does that actually look like? What does that mean? Simply just saying, you know what, for the next 12 weeks I'm going to try as hard as I can and see what happens. That is a far, far better goal than just saying I'm going to start the gym. So try and actually identify something that is tangible, that you can actually reach, that you can actually achieve. I want to lose 10 kilos. I want to gain 5 kilos over 4 months. I want to do something. I want to build a routine. I want to be consistent in the gym 5 days a week. All of these things are actually tangible goals that you can stick to. Practice mindfulness. If you are starting in a place where you're stressed, you're anxious, you're speaking self-critically to yourself, you're quite negative towards things right now, you're going to be quite volatile. So start trying to actually become more mindful, become more calm, become more connected with yourself, understand yourself a wee bit better, so that if something does come up, you can handle it. And it doesn't seem like it's the end of the world. You know it's actually just a hurdle that you can get around. A benefit for the rest of your life, for every asset of your life, not just for this. Build habits over time. So like I said, everything up here is pretty simple to do, but it's very hard to implement all at once. That's why when I write a training program, it's planned out, it's thought out, it starts and it builds momentum, and as the progress comes, we get harder and more difficult, meaning more progress and more results. It's very hard to just start all this and implement it at the one time. So, implementing the basics, the most important stuff, over time really does matter. If you've never tracked calories, well, maybe you should spend a couple of weeks learning calories and tracking calories before you then hit your deficit or your surplus. Same with protein intake. It's going to take you a couple of weeks to actually figure out what you're trying to eat. Your training, your sleep, if your sleep shit, you can't fix that tomorrow. It will take probably 3 weeks before you get into a good sleep cycle. And steps are something that always need worked on because they always have to be intentional. You don't just get 15,000 steps unless you work a really active job. So building habits over time is really important. If you're only doing 4,000 steps, it's very hard to get up to 15,000, but you can increase your steps 2,000 to 3,000 every single week and you're on the right track. Mindset, this is really simple. Don't look at the outcome, look at enjoying the life. Look at feeling healthy. Focus on the improvements you're seeing to your mindset, your energy, your mood, all of these things. If you are constantly focused on the outcome, when the weight doesn't shift, you're going to be volatile and you're going to give up. But if you can say, you know what, my weight hasn't actually gone down this week, however I was really, really consistent, I've been more consistent than I've actually been in weeks and weeks, I'm really proud of the effort I put in, all I have to do next week is just slightly lower my calories, you'll crush it. So if you've got the mindset of growth, of just constantly trying to be that wee bit better, of just every single day beating who you were yesterday, you are going to grow no matter what. That is the same for anything in life. Business, work, relationships. If you can just be slightly better every single day, you're going to be phenomenal down the line. Accountability. Accountability is one of the makes or breaks. having a workout partner, having a partner like my Amy who supports me, or having a personal trainer really does change the game completely. When you feel like being a bitch and not following through, having accountability, having someone there to chin you, to support you, to listen to you moan is all really, really important. Having a plan from a personal trainer is going to be the best thing, but having a partner, a girlfriend, or a training partner just to try and help guide you, to be someone to listen to you, to be someone to give you some encouragement when you need it, is so drastically important and to make the journey a lot easier. And don't fucking quit. Like, so many people just quit too early. They just give up. And I believe that once you pick the path, stay on that path. You're not going to make the same amount of progress the whole time. It's going to go slow at points, it's going to go fast at others. You're going to make phenomenal progress, and then life is going to take over. Whatever, something's going to happen. But just don't fucking quit. Don't get off that path. Don't turn around. You might be walking slow on that path, or crawling even, or having to come to a stop, but it doesn't mean you fucking quit. So just keep going. If you know that these 5 things are the most important things that you can be doing, just try and keep consistent with it. I've been doing this for 10 years. The first 5 years, I didn't do it great, but I still made decent progress, and just because I didn't quit. The last 5, since I was 19, I've really been putting the hammer down and seeing really, really good progress because I know what I should be doing. But it's alright, because I didn't quit and I'm 10 years down the line and I'm further than most. So please, just don't fucking quit. Now, I have put my phone number underneath this video, the 07469 722 742. All of this stuff is topics that I love to speak about. If you are wanting to see results and see progress and you're unsure about anything, or you want me to go a wee bit further into any of this stuff, then message me on WhatsApp and I can help you one-to-one directly there for free. And if you feel like, you know what, you want to step up, you really want to commit to something, you want to challenge, then you can also join my program and see the experience and get the results that many others have done before you. So, thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one.